Welcome to Historical Drama with the Boston Sisters, where we talk about historical drama series and films as windows to the past and mirrors of the present. I'm Michonne Boston.
And I'm Tequina Boston. This is a special episode of Historical Drama with the Boston Sisters. Our guests are Jerry Gallus, founder of Open Book Chocolates, and Irene Schweig, Jerry's mom, assistant in her enterprise, and an accomplished artist. Open Book Chocolates is a woman-owned bean-to-bar chocolate business that creates bars inspired by themes and authors from classical literature. In addition to being creative chocolatiers, Jerry and Irene are also deep readers who share their love of literature as a daughter-mother activity.
We met Jerry and Irene at our first Jane Austen Society of North America, also known as JASNA, General Annual Meeting in Baltimore, Maryland. After tasting dozens of chocolate samples and chatting away about books and chocolate, Tequina and I knew that we wanted to collaborate with Open Book Chocolates around the release of PBS Masterpiece's 8-episode adaptation of Alexander Dumas's The Count of Monte Cristo. That delicious collaboration happened on March 14, 2026, with Revenge is Bittersweet, Chocolate, Chai, and Chat at Teaism Penn Quarter in Washington, D.C. Revenge is Bittersweet is the first in-person meetup for historical drama with the Boston Sisters. As one attendee shared, quote, "Great folks, great conversation. It was so nourishing to be surrounded by folks who love movies, books, and more. I left with a list of things to watch and read. The program was super," unquote.
In this podcast, Jerry and Irene share the hows of creating literary-inspired chocolate, including the process of creating the Monte Cristo bar, flavored with porcini and peach. Then the conversation jumps into talking about The Count of Monte Cristo to explore the novel's themes of revenge and justice. Stay tuned to the end to find out how you can order Open Book Chocolates to accompany your historical drama viewing and literary classics reading.
Welcome, Jerry and Irene, to Historical Drama with the Boston Sisters.
Hello, thanks for having us.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, the two of you have a really unique business, and we were so delighted when we met you at the Jane Austen Society of North America annual meeting back in 2025. It was the 250th anniversary of Jane Austen's birth. And to discover chocolate purveyors, chocolatiers, working from bean to bar, incorporating themes or flavors, I should say, that are reflective of classical literature, bringing together chocolate and reading or literature. So tell us a little bit about your origin story and how you came up with the concept of Open Book Chocolates.
Well, I've always been a very creative person, and for many years I've been a writer and an illustrator of graphic novels, and I've always loved reading and literature. Basically, my as an undergrad, I created my own major, which I like to say is cross-cultural storytelling. So I've always been interested in telling stories, and I wanted to make a small business where I could put all that creativity and, connect it with my love of literature, and who doesn't love chocolate? So it just kind of grew from there. That was the seed of the idea.
Yeah. And your mom, Irene. Irene, how are you involved with the chocolate business, the literary chocolate business?
Well, Jerry bounces ideas off me, and we always discuss things. We discuss the books that she's thinking of making a chocolate bar for. We also discuss financial things, very nitty-gritty things, how to do things. And I think it's more of a collaboration, but I do follow what Jerry wants me to do. I I hope I'm not too bossy with her. She's
No.
certainly bossy with me.
Yeah.
So that's the way it goes.
Yeah. And you're both readers as well as chocolatiers. Talk a little bit about your process for selecting books to create chocolate bars around, because we know there's a bazillion books that
That's
you
right.
could be inspired to
That's
create
right.
chocolates
Yeah,
around.
it can be very hard to narrow it down because there are so many, like, I look at a lot of the top 100 classic books and, like, go through that and see what have we not done yet, but it's definitely a combination of, is the book well known enough? Because we have a lot of classics that we love, but nobody knows about.
Right.
And, also, what are our customers interested in? For instance, we have a lot of steampunk affiliated customers, so we try to appeal to them with, like, the Call of Cthulhu and the Time Machine. So it definitely is a combination of all of those things.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting when you mentioned chocolate and literature combined. It made me remember that I was eating chocolate while reading Gabriel Garcia Marquez's Love in the Time of Cholera.
Oh. Ah,
Well, that's what we kind of thought too, is that a lot of readers eat chocolate while they read. So we're kind of offering this all-inclusive experience of eating literary inspired chocolate while reading.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we're recording this podcast after our first podcast meetup, Revenge is Bittersweet, for The Count of Monte Cristo, which is coming on PBS Masterpiece pretty soon, and people will be able to stream it too. And this story by Alexander Dumas is an inspiration for one of your chocolates. So tell us about
Mhm.
creating, or shall I say chocolate bars, because they're not little chocolates. We're talking about bars here.
Yeah.
right.
So talk about the process of creating the Count of Monte Cristo bar. What ingredients did you test before you came up with incorporating mushrooms? That's the secret ingredient. And we're not talking about head spinning mushrooms. We're
Right.
talking about
Yeah, well, our Monte Cristo bar has gone through transformations over the years. It was actually one of our first flavors, and when we introduced it, it was, with muscat raisins and dark chocolate, and, that's because I love the scene where Mercedes offers the Count a bunch of muscat grapes as a sign of friendship, and he kind of refuses them. So I thought, okay, we can get muscat raisins and put them in the chocolate. But we soon came to learn that a lot of our customers did not like raisins and they thought muscat was muskrat. And it was hard to source the raisins because a lot of those grapes go into the Moscato wine. So then we kind of retired it and then I wanted to bring it back and, I was rereading Monte Cristo and thought, "Oh, well, the mushrooms that were used the origin story of the Monte Cristo treasure in the book has to do with the Borgia Pope who poisons people with mushrooms. So why don't we find a mushroom that tastes good in the chocolate? And then we went through a couple different mushrooms. I think we tried a chanterelle mushroom, which was horrible. It like smelled like how dog food. It tasted like how dog food
no.
smells. And then we found the porcini mushroom, which is more
Right.
like an earthy flavor that paired very well with the dark chocolate and also the peach that we put in it. So it's been a process, but it tastes good now.
Is it a peach extract or
Yes, we use a lot of extracts in our chocolate, and we use a lot of them from a company called Medicine Flower, and they make all of their essences, like, you order it, and I think they make it, for you, basically.
Oh,
yeah.
so they're artisans as well.
That's right,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing that's interesting about the books of Alexander Dumas is that you do find a lot of food in it. You know,
That's
people are
right.
having dinners, they're drinking wine, the musketeers are drinking their wine, going to the taverns, etc. And
Mhm.
the Count of Monte Cristo hosts dinners and is
That's
attending
right.
dinners and carnival. So is that why you chose this novel, or are there other reasons you chose this novel as the inspiration for your chocolate
I
bar?
mean, that's definitely a good reason to choose it, all the food in it, but I think both me and my mom
Right.
really just love the book. I know my mom has read it twice now.
Right, and you are too, you're
Yeah.
reading it twice.
Yes.
Yes, I
So,
am.
it's just such a, you don't want it to end. You just get so involved with the characters, and on second read, of course, you always find, "Did I know that when I read it the first time?" And it's just very exciting to read it, and, um, just the brilliance behind writing it is there. So, we just and loved it a lot, so
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one segment I thought was interesting. I just read it when Albert is hosting a breakfast with his friends,
Oh, yes,
and they're
yeah.
waiting for the Count to show up, and this will be his the Count's first introduction to Paris,
Mhm,
society or
mhm.
Albert's friends, and they are like, "When is he gonna show up? Because I'm hungry." You know?
And I think on that line too, I think the Count never eats.
That's right.
He
Mm.
never
That's right.
eats. Everybody else eats, but he does not.
But he partakes in his hashish.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and in the series, you see him partaking in something, some substance.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one of the things that, uh, s one of the people who came to our meetups pointed out was, "Y'all don't talk just about chocolate, you can also really go deep into books."
Mhm.
Mhm.
So with regard to The Count of Monte Cristo, we've been, asking the question, uh, do you see it as a story of revenge, or do you see it as a story of justice? So we're interested in where the two of you land on is the theme of the novel. Is it about revenge? Is it about justice? Is does it weave together both? Uh, Tell us what your thoughts are.
I think it's justice, and it's almost like, um, rewarding those who have done good deeds and punishing those who have harmed others, because
Right.
a lot of it is not just Edmund, who becomes the Count, getting revenge on those who wronged him. It's also he collects all these other people who have been wronged by the same people, and it's punishment for those sins as well. So it's kind of like he's this deity or this god who's like, I can reward those who have done good deeds, and I can punish those who have done bad deeds.
And I agree. I also think the Count would forgive if they changed, if the people he's seeking justice from made a change, but they don't change.
Yeah.
So he has to exact justice.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because he actually uses the very weaknesses,
Mhm.
or I would say the qualities of their character or lack of character that they use to try to undo his life.
Mhm.
He's able to use those same character traits to undo the wrongs that were done to him.
That's
It's
right.
almost like watching this story come full circle, which
Yeah.
is
Right.
fascinating.
Well, it's very as I was thinking how that's very much like Dante's Inferno, where the punishment reflects their sin. So it's like
Mhm.
he goes after Danglars, who's money hungry. So that's, money is the way to punish Danglars.
Right, right. But also he never, places his justice or his revenge on any of their children.
True.
So, which is very interesting because it's not he sees it that they're not inheriting their parents'
Wrong too. Yeah.
sins or wrongs, that he lets them go, like the daughter,
Yeah. I think it's Danglars' daughter who
yeah, who
runs
runs.
away with another lady.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right,
But
and
he's
so
still
they don't
stick
get punished.
yeah, he's still sticking it to the parent stuff, I do
Yes,
that.
oh,
Yeah.
yes, yes, he is, he is.
Right?
Yeah.
She's probably better off, running away with a lady than being married to her half brother. So
Oh
Little
god.
spoiler alert there.
yeah.
Yes, what we're just gonna spoil alert every aspect of the Count of Monte Cristo in our
No, I think
podcast.
it doesn't matter because it's the when you read it, it's still new.
That's
Even if
right.
you know that that's gonna happen, it
Yeah.
still seems so new. So,
And
it's like
the
reading.
adaptations don't always follow the novels closely,
Exactly.
Yeah.
so there's still surprises.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, yeah, and then you forget, wait, that isn't who did that deed or
Right.
whatever. So, yeah, you were right.
Well, how do you feel about these adaptations of some of your favorite books? For example, Taquina and I have said that we've read books based on the fact that we saw the film first. One
Mhm.
of those films for me was Jane Eyre, the one with Orson Welles. I'm a huge Orson Welles fan.
Oh, he was handsome as a young man.
Yes, he
Yeah,
was.
he was.
And and even though that took a Hollywood approach to the
Yeah,
book, when I got to the book, I was like, "Oh, wow, and this happened," and it really, it expanded that story, and I even enjoyed the book more
Mhm.
than the film. So,
mhm.
do you have any favorite film adaptations? And I use Jane Eyre as an example because, it's Orson Welles.
As much as I love Orson Welles too, I love I think it's 2006 adaptation of Jane Eyre. That's the four-part miniseries with Ruth Wilson and Toby Stephens. Like, that's my Jane Eyre.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
most true in my perspective. I feel like it's the most true to the book, like the spirit of the book. Like, they're very flirty with one another, which I think a lot of the adaptations are like, "This is serious and gothic." I'm like, they're flirting with each other like 70% of the book. So
Yeah, yeah. I
And
think I
actually, Jerry, you have a very interesting introduction to Alexandre Dumas' Count of Monte Cristo. If you want to share that with us, and also what your favorite adaptation of that
That's
book
right. Well,
is.
okay.
as a kid, I used to watch I guess I was in elementary school, I used to watch Wishbone all the time, so I definitely remember Wishbone, the, Jack Russell Terrier as the Count of Monte Cristo, and I really have this vivid memory of when they throw him in the water from the Chateau d'If, and him swimming, the little dog swimming in the water. And then I also love there's actually a very good anime adaptation of Monte Cristo that's about 20 years old or thereabouts now, and it's like, I would say 99% accurate to the book, which is pretty hard to it's such an intricate book, so to get it that close to the book is an amazing achievement.
And, I think I'm thinking of another adaptation of at least The Count of Monte Cristo. There's a recent one from France
Oh, right.
that was
Yeah,
quite good. Different endings, of course, but
Mhm.
this one, they at least used the disguises because he has multiple identities in the book.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you see those in this version, and, it's shorter. I was wondering why they didn't use the disguises in this longer version that's
Oh,
coming to
they
PBS.
didn't
Oh,
because
interesting.
he disguises himself as a priest or an abbé,
Right?
and then
Sinbad the
Sinbad.
Sailor,
Yeah, yeah.
and was there another one? I
An
don't
Englishman.
An Englishman, that's right.
Ah,
That's right,
Yeah.
and if I remember correctly, I think that inspired that Monte Cristo with his disguises inspired Arthur Conan Doyle with Sherlock Holmes disguises, I believe.
Ah. So it is interesting looking at how literature inspires other literature because, of course, the Monte Cristo theme is in Stephen King's Shawshank Redemption.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Which I never thought of until you said that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's so interesting. I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's mentioned in the, film.
Right.
Let's talk about the future of open book
Yeah.
chocolates. What new flavors are you working on right
Mhm.
now?
Well, we're developing 2 flavors. We're doing the Odyssey, just in time for Christopher Nolan's new movie, with, I think, Matt Damon as Odysseus.
That's
So
going to
we're
be interesting.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. So our Odyssey chocolate bar is gonna have olive oil and rosemary and dark chocolate,
Mhm.
and, the olive oil is from, the marriage bed that Odysseus makes for Penelope. He carves out of an olive tree, so that's where that comes from. And then we're also working on the time machine, which is going to be hibiscus and jasmine in a milk chocolate. And that's from these flowers from the future that kind of are the proof that the time traveler has traveled. So we're excited about both flavors. I think they're going to be really tasty.
Yeah, yeah.
And what are the launch dates for those?
We usually come out with new flavors in September, so just in time for, like, revving up for the busy winter holiday season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, all the chocolates are inspired by books that are in public domain,
That's right.
meaning that you don't
Mhm.
have to deal with copyright issues
Mhm.
at this point.
Yeah.
If you could create a chocolate based on a book that still is in copyright, has a copyright attached to it that you would have to option, so to speak,
Mhm.
what would that book be or books? Because I would mention Love in the Time of Cholera, and I'm like,
Right.
that would make a good chocolate
That's
bar.
right. Well, I think both of us are big fans of, Susanna Clark
Oh,
and
yeah.
Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. That's, like, one of my favorite books,
Yeah.
having, magic, but in a historical context. And her other book, Piranesi, is quite amazing too, so I don't know what chocolate flavor I would make them, but I would love to to do some
Yeah, yeah.
Susanna Clark chocolate bars.
So she's listening?
Yeah, if you're listening, Susanna Clark.
We'll tag her.
Wow. Have you ever thought of, writing authors that you like and asking them if they would allow you to make a chocolate
Yeah.
bar inspired by their literature?
Unfortunately, I feel like most of the authors that I like are either deceased or they're not online. Like, I don't think Susanna Clark has any online presence, so
Mhm.
maybe, her publishers or literary agent might hear this. But, well, and then I would love to we were talking, like, A Clockwork Orange or
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
1984 even, but 1984 is a weird one because it's in the public domain in the UK, but not in the US yet.
Mm.
It's like, oh, so close, but no cigar."
Yeah. Yeah.
And speaking of which, when did you hop on The Great Gatsby? Because that went into public domain
Yeah, we
recently.
had to wait for it. We were waiting
Right.
patiently for it to come to the public domain, so I forget what year that was, but, as soon as it was in the public domain, we're like, "We're making a chocolate bar."
Right.
I
Right.
do tend to follow, like, every year in January is when, new works come into the public domain, so I tend to keep an eye on that, and that's actually how the Maltese Falcon chocolate bar came about
That's
because that
right.
just recently entered the public domain.
Mm. So
Yeah.
for people, if you're a chocolate lover, I'm sure your mouth is watering right now. How can people find Open Book chocolates?
Yeah, well, we are online at www.openbookchocolates.com. And we have our online store as well as a list of bookstores across the U.S. that carry us, and also all of the in-person events we do throughout the year in like the Maryland, Virginia area.
Excellent.
Well, before you go, Tequina, what would be your book of choice for a chocolate bar created by Open Book Chocolates? Since we keep buying these chocolate bars, piling them up,
Yeah.
stockpiling.
Probably something from Louisa May Alcott.
Oh, yeah. You
Um,
get Little
of
Women.
of course, there's Little Women, but I also loved her Eight Cousins and Rose in Bloom, which
Interesting.
actually, Eight Cousins is about Rose as a child with her 8 male cousins, and then Rose and Bloom, they are all grown up.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
And I see great potential for when that time comes for Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston.
Yes,
Right,
yes, we have to figure
right.
out when that one is coming into the public domain.
Yeah, that Hurston estate seems to be really growing. They're discovering more and more of her books and her writings all the time and publishing. Yeah.
That's very cool.
Well, it was such a pleasure working with you on
Yes.
Revenge is Bittersweet and doing that event. And we'll be keeping our eyes open for other opportunities to let people know about your wonderful chocolates, but also
Yes.
maybe we can do another collaboration in the future as
course.
Oh,
well.
that'd be fantastic.
We would love to. We love
Yes.
working with you too. It's a lot of fun and always intellectually stimulating.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Jerry and Irene.
Thank
you.
you.
Pair our Open Book Chocolate special podcast with episode 87, where we talk more about revenge and justice in the new adaptation of Alexander Dumas's The Count of Monte Cristo, featuring Sam Claflin in the title role. We talk with Norman Allen, award-winning playwright and minister of First Parish in Portland, Maine. Catch The Count of Monte Cristo on the PBS drama series Masterpiece. Check local listings. You can also stream the series on PBS Passport, the PBS Masterpiece Prime Video channel, and for free for 14 days from broadcast on pbs.org/masterpiece. Contact your local PBS station to learn more about how to access additional Masterpiece dramas with PBS Passport.
Subscribe to Historical Drama with the Boston Sisters on your favorite podcast platform to make sure you're up to date on new and special podcast episodes like this one. Sign up for our mailing list to receive news about future in-person and virtual events inspired by history, films, and series spotlighted on Historical Drama with the Boston Sisters.
Thank you for catching this episode of Historical Drama with the Boston Sisters. We hope you enjoyed our exploration of captivating historical films and series dramas. Find us on Instagram at Historical Drama Sisters and on Facebook at Historical Drama Boston Sisters.
We want to hear from you. What historical dramas are you watching? Share your favorites. We may feature them in a future episode. Don't forget to subscribe. Visit our website at michonnebostongroup.com/Boston Sisters and share the podcast with fellow historical drama enthusiasts.
Historical Drama with the Boston Sisters is brought to you by the Michonne Boston Group. The views and opinions expressed on Historical Drama with the Boston Sisters are those of the speakers and do not represent the positions or views of the Michonne Boston Group, its clients, or affiliates. This is Michonne Boston.
And this is Tequina Boston.
Thank you for listening.